Right, the first thing I want you to do is to tell me what difficulties you've been having with your vision.
I have patches that are sort of kidney bean shaped in the bottom quarters of my central vision.
Both eyes?
Both eyes. It's worse on my right eye.
Right.
I get some difficulty with light and shade. If I go into a light room from a dark room, I can't see. If I go into a dark room from a light room, I can't see, and it takes me a while.
How long does it take for that to adjust?
I sort of stand there with my eyes closed, let the grey fuzz dissipate, and that takes about, it's probably only about 4 seconds, but
Right.
it feels quite long.
What if you don't close your eyes? What if you just stand there and you have your eyes
I
open?
feel I open my eyes ridiculously wide to sort of try and, to try and dissipate the greyness. But so if I go into a room, so if I walked from this lit room into that dark room in there,
Yeah.
I would stand there very still with my eyes very widely open
Right.
and wait for it to clear,
Okay.
and then I continue.
From what you're saying, it sounds like you find going from light to dark
Yeah.
more difficult than from dark to light.
Dark to light can be just a bit of a shock with the brightness of things. Sometimes I find, like driving at night, headlights,
Yeah.
that it feels like everybody's in high beam and
So there's a lot of glare.
glare, brightness. Is the problem.
Okay, we'll go into lighting in a bit more detail later because it's different for everybody. Some people will have really bright lighting and other people find that really difficult. You'll notice I've got a bright light. I'm using a bright light. That's because I've actually got a really severe sight problem. But for other people at different stages of sight loss, the lighting it varies. What's easier for people. As is colour, but we'll talk a bit more about colour as we go later on. Okay, so problems with bits of missing vision, problems with adjusting to changes in light intensity.
And problems with contrast. I'm very good with like a background that's yellow or bright white, mostly yellow with a bold black text.
Yeah.
I'm not very good at simple text, like Arial is good. Anything fancy or long doesn't work.
When you say long, do you mean
tall
and thin?
letters, yeah.
Okay.
They don't really work. Big round baby letters are good.
Yeah. Spacing important for you?
Yeah, not so much between words, but between lines.
Yeah.
And colour. If I can't read black off grey.
Yes.
Or
so you need a
strong contrast between whatever's going on. It needs to be. Yeah.
Now you're a musician.
I am.
It's easier, I would imagine, to enlarge font and text and type.
Mm-hmm.
What's it like for you to read music?
If I'm handed, I don't read dots and lines anyway, so
Right.
that's not really something that is going to cause me problems. Reading tablature, which is numbers on lines, so pretty similar. I do it all on my computer and I zoom it up really big and then I just learn it. I don't play from...
Right. So presumably that would mean that in your career sight reading
would
be
that's
more difficult for you than
even
for someone with
a chord
sight.
sheet. If I'm following it, if I happen to look it's at the sheet in a slightly wrong way, I might catch a chord in my blind spot and miss it.
Okay.
So
so your music suffers. Okay. So thanks for that. Is there anything more? We've talked about light and shade, we've talked about contrast, we've talked about font and reading and that sort of thing. Anything else that your missing patches in your vision give you difficulty with?
Recognising people in dimly lit rooms.
Okay.
Well, again, that's the lighting.
Do you find any difficulty if you're in a busy, bustling, buzzy area where there's lots of going on, like a busy restaurant? Do you find it difficult to distinguish what is in the foreground of hearing to what's in the background of hearing?
No, I think my ears are actually pretty attuned to that, and I think that's possibly from the music.
Okay, good.
Things.
Okay, so it's not difficult for you to filter out what is
no
important from the background noise.
No, that's pretty
okay, that's fine. That's something that may alter over time as your vision alters too.
Okay.
It does sound peculiar when they ask about hearing when we're doing a visual assessment, but actually the two are very closely linked. I find it very, very difficult if I'm in a busy area. I can't pull from the foreground what's in the foreground and what's in the background, so I often don't talk in a busy restaurant at a table because I can't work out who's saying what and when. But
oh no, I know what you mean with if it's a group conversation and you're not if you don't know the people, you don't recognise their tone of voice. When it's in this sort of lighting, it'll be absolutely fine, but in a dimly lit bar or something, when I look directly at somebody, they're in that grey fuzz, and I wouldn't see their lips moving. So
you said grey fuzz a couple of times now. Is that what's in your patches?
Yeah, it's
a
sort of
grey
like
fuzz.
a hazy grey fuzz.
Yeah. Okay, no problem at all. Okay, right. The next thing I need you to tell me, and this is a weird question. What do you use your vision for?
Seeing.
Yep. Okay. Do you drive?
I do drive.
Do you read?
I read.
Yeah.
So I don't read from textbooks anymore, but that's simply because I don't. It's more an annoyance. I read from my Kindle and I zoom things up just so I forget about the problems, because making it bigger, I don't need it that big, but it stops. The spacing is better, so it stops me being distracted by my patches.
Okay. Do you play or watch sport?
I watch occasional rugby. I don't play anything.
Do you do anything? Are you an artist? Do you model clay or anything like that? Okay. So pretty standard, use of vision. I've done these assessments before, and somebody said to me, "I'm a photographer," which brings in a whole, a whole different aspect of
the performance. Eye contact in a performance can be something.
Yeah.
Which is being able to engage with your audience when you can't see them is a little bit more tricky.
So you're going to need to find yourself techniques that enable you to appear like you're engaging with your audience, whereas actually possibly you might not be, but they're not to know that.
They don't need to know that.
Okay. Right, that's great. Right, I'm going to start with there's a whole battery of assessments. Some of them you'll think, well, that wasn't an assessment, it was really straightforward. And others will think, oh, okay, that was a little bit more difficult. So the first thing I'm going to ask you to do is actually turn so that you're facing me